Hey, Pat.
Hey, what's up, Sarwar?
Not much. How about you?
Feeling great.
Beautiful. Let's get into today's topic. It is going to be more about your past. More so, where would you be now if you continued on the same journey as you had back in high school?
Ooh, so high school was kind of a slacker, right? I smoked a lot of pot, actually. Get my honor roll and call it a day. If I was still on that path and not really putting my best foot forward and just like smoking weed all day, I'd probably be a bum. Probably would not be able to accomplish the things I accomplished if I stayed on that path of just, smoking weed all day and smoking weed all night. It's probably would not be a high performer, for sure.
Well, with that said, who were you back then? Sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah. Go
I'm just
ahead.
wondering, what is your personality back then? What was your thought process like back then? Who were you in general?
Yeah, so like I said, I was kind of a huge stoner, which is kind of funny. Didn't put as much effort into the things I wanted. I was still kind of building some good habits, like working out and like reading and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily focused to a point of like why I'm doing these things. And I was also not as confident, for sure. Like talking to one person was pretty difficult. Talking to a whole group would cause me like massive anxiety. I had really bad social anxiety back then, which is probably why I was smoking so much pot, to kind of like run away from that feeling of being socially anxious. Yeah, just not being like too confident, not really having like a purpose when I was younger, which I think is probably normal. It was just like dealing with those things. I wasn't really making the best decisions and kind of just trying to fill some voids, fill some holes in life, I guess.
Now, if you want to get insider info on my thoughts, I've actually started to use Twitter as just my brain dump and notes, so I can share insights in there all the time. So if you want to learn more, follow me on Twitter. That's at Patrick J. Hilario. Take care.
What sparked the change in you to transition into a more understandable, more mature individual?
A big one would be my teachers. So I ran into like a French teacher that introduced existentialist philosophy to me. And that was the first time I kind of realized like, whoa, like I don't have to follow society's rules. I can create my own rules, set my own parameters, determine my own purpose. And all this would actually make life to be continually adding responsibility in perpetuity. So meaning every single year I would have to become more and more responsible. And this freaked me out at first because it was actually a lot easier to be like, hey, there's no purpose in life, and kind of be an absurdist and be like, hey, well, whatever, I'll just, get a little bit of pleasure here and there. But instead having this like humanist philosophy that I do what needs to be done to create purpose in my own life, which would mean that I would have to become more and more responsible as the years go by. And this was really that turning point where it's like, hey, well, I'd rather be empowered and have purpose. Yes, it might take a little bit of effort because I have to be more responsible, but I'd rather have a life filled with meaning and purpose, even if it means being more responsible, than having no responsibilities, just being a hedonist while being stuck in a feeling that life was absurd. I didn't want to live that life. I really wanted to live a life where it's like, hey, I know why I'm here. I know that I can determine my own purpose, or at least explore what that purpose could be, and take responsibility for these things instead of just like running away from my problems or running away from empty holes that maybe I had.
And have you ever hit rock bottom?
Yes. So there's a time in 2017 where we essentially, like, I hit rock bottom. It was a really difficult time in my life. Mom dealt with some health issues. I had to take a position of responsibility to take care of her and kind of realize that, other people will have to depend on me at a certain time. And at that point, I was kind of resenting it a little bit. I was kind of blaming God a little bit of why do you put me into this position? And then I kind of took a step back. I'm like, okay, well, again, like I have the opportunity to reframe and find meaning in this. So instead of looking at it as like, hey, why have you forsaken me and put me in this difficult situation? I kind of looked at it as like, hey, well, it's just a test. I've been through difficult things before. If I can get through this, then I can definitely get to accomplishing more out of life. And everything kind of worked out, and that really built a lot of self-trust in my own capabilities, and having trust in like the whole process. Trust in God was a big one. And I kind of realized like I was an atheist for a very long time. Like I grew up in a pretty religious family, ran into existentialism. That kind of got me into exploring different aspects of spirituality and how that fits in my life. That led me down a path of being an atheist for a little bit. But after that rock bottom moment, I kind of realized like, like none of this is possible without having some form of higher power. That's just a personal belief. Like you don't have to believe that. But for me, I found that has been a huge help and really got me out of those darker moments in my life.
Hey, do you want to get my free ebook, How to Never Be Broke Again? I've given this out completely for free. So DM me the word ebook, one word, ebook, and I will send you that for free. You guys are awesome, and thanks so much for the continued support.
Where would you say you would be if you hadn't made that change?
I would definitely not be fulfilling my full potential there, and not even being close. Like I'd probably just be working regular job. I'd probably be in like a position of hard cope where I would try to justify that I am doing my best, where instead I would know that I'm not. And I definitely wouldn't be putting as much effort in my health. I wouldn't be caring about other people. I would just be focused on myself selfishly, and probably wouldn't even be building the amount of wealth that I'm doing right now, because I am trying to do this for something larger than myself. And even the passion and the ease that I would have now would not be there. So now it's like, yeah, I have hard days, but I have tools in place now, and I understand that responsibility is very important, and I can kind of walk this journey with a little bit more ease. I'm also surrounded with great people. I don't think I would be able to attract those great people into the team, into my life, if I stayed that type of person where, I wasn't trying to be a high performer. I wasn't trying to figure myself out back then, and I was just really trying to, again, like fill those holes, fill those voids, try to like focus on just hedonistic pleasure, and that was fun, but it wasn't fulfilling. And I think now that I have a team in place, I have people that are in the support system, I have the privilege of being part of these awesome masterminds, that if I stayed being that type of person that wouldn't put in the effort and not really trying to push my boundaries, I would be stuck, essentially. And that's probably one of my biggest fears. And a big realization I've had is that realizing that we're past that, right? And there are days where I think that I'm still that person, and I realize like, no, it's been like over 12 years that we've been doing this, and that person has essentially kind of died. Like I don't have those thoughts as much. They come in every now and then, and that's why I kind of hire mindset coaches and people that put me through exercises that help me do like trauma release with everything linked to that. But now there's tools in place, versus before it was kind of just you're stuck in that position. And I was stuck in that position because I had no other input or data to help me get out. Like I just didn't have the information. Whereas now, like I'm constantly surrounded by people that just like nitpick, that I hire, right? Like I pay these people to nitpick of where I'm screwing up and where I can like get to the next level, how I can be more responsible. And these people do this because, one, I pay for the service, and two, they understand that if I'm open to the constructive criticism, I can continually get better day to day and week to week and year to year. So,
hey, we created a free financial and social confidence program. It's completely free. It's 10 years of knowledge and experience and exercise I've put together to help you become financially confident and socially confident, because I think financial skills and social skills go hand in hand. So make sure you DM me the word confidence, and I'll send you that free course today. Take care.
If you had the opportunity to go back into the past, see your 17-year-old self again, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to not worry about it, because I remember wasting so much time being worried about being responsible, being worried about the next level, being worried about what my purpose is going to be and all these things. And yeah, maybe I could give my 17-year-old self a quick tip that can get him through it, but I'm not too sure it would land. And that's something I've been learning since like coaching a bunch of students and letting my clients know how they can become high performers based on their lives. How can they get into real estate based on their lives and their goals? And sometimes people aren't ready to let it land. So I think for my 17-year-old self, it was just to help him reduce the anxiety of trying to figure it all out and just ask for help, right? Like, you don't have to do this alone. You can get help. You can surround yourself with people that are further on, and you don't have to take information or data from people that are not where you want to be, right? And alleviating that pressure from my 17-year-old self and just show them that, hey, if you just go through the process, like things will work out, and you know, you're gonna be stressed regardless. Like there's no point in adding added stress. And again, that's something that I would just remind myself even now, like even to this day. There are days where I'm just like, holy, like this is pretty stressful handling all this. Like we're not just trying to build something small. Like this is something that is a larger vision that goes beyond ourselves, and that's okay. Like if the vision's big, yeah, there's a lot of responsibilities, but we don't have to pressure ourselves so much. And judging myself less would be a big one I'd also tell my 17-year-old self. So I guess kind of recap is like, hey, don't worry too much about it. If you can't control it, don't worry about it. And stop judging yourself so much, and that will lead to you not judging other people, and now you have all the free mental space to just really figure out and be who I was supposed to be.
And now you saying that about yourself, would that be the same advice you'd give to other high schoolers right now, or would there be another piece of advice you toss at them?
That's a hard question, mostly because I try not to give, like, yeah, we kind of have to give general information, but for actual results on a specific person, like I'd have to really get to know the context of where you're coming from, how was your childhood, what are some limiting beliefs you have, what are your goals and dreams, and really cater it to that. But a big one is just, I would just suggest to people, and you know, I've taught high school for a couple of years, is that, hey, if you don't have everything figured out, it's okay. If you're a little anxious because you're in different environments that you're uncomfortable, like again, that's okay as long as we do something about it. Like take little steps forward and start trusting yourself a little bit more and alleviate that pressure. If we can't control it, like it's not in our control, we don't need to waste time worrying about it. And this is something I wish I knew a little bit sooner. I wish someone taught me a little sooner, like, hey, if it's not gonna matter in 5 years, like why spend 5 minutes worrying about it? Like we burn so much energy, and this still affects me to this day, right? Like I'm not perfect. Like there are days where something will seep into my mind. I know it's out of my control, but it'll still take mental space. It'll still kind of affect my work and my relationship with people, where I just got to learn to like let go of that. And again, if I can't control it, if you can't control it, take a step back. Maybe you got to write down the moment and just have it like out of your mind onto paper, and not worrying about, again, the things that we can't control, because there's nothing you can do about it, right? Like life happens, life's messy, and it's okay to kind of just adapt and learn to trust yourself that things are going to work out.
Well, that wraps up today's video. Thank you for the deep talk, Patrick. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people?
That if you want something out of life, you can either try and figure it out yourself. You could either get help from your friends who may not have the context to help you out with that, or you can find someone who's already done it and help them show you what you can do and what you can't do. Like having that extra set of eyes helps. Unfortunately, a lot of us just go to friends and family for that, which, it's great, but if you really want specific results that you or someone that you don't know or someone that you know hasn't done just yet, like just find people who've already done it, right? And I think it's super valuable to have someone tell you, okay, this is what I've done. I can help you reach that goal because I've done it as well. Here's what I have done, and they can help you out with that, and it might help you. But here are also the things that I should have avoided, right? Versus if you're just getting general advice, like I don't even think that's good advice. because not everyone's done the things that you want to do if you're trying to do something in that space, right? So there are people out there that can help you. It's really being able to figure out and filter, okay, who has the experience and the knowledge to actually help you out to reach those goals that you want, and being able to filter out information. Like, don't just take information that I'm giving you, because if you don't want to do the things that I have done, then I might not be giving you the best advice. And that's okay. Like, I want you guys to kind of think about where you're getting advice. Think about what makes sense, what applies to you, and don't just be like, oh, I trust Patrick because he's a good source. Like, again, I'm just a regular dude. I might be a couple steps ahead depending on what you want out of life, but I'm just sharing what has worked for me, what I think might help for you, and still use your critical thinking, right? That's why I always say, like, hey, if you want to jump on a free call, awesome. I'd love to help you out with that. I'm not too sure if I can help, right? But jump on a call. I can figure out more of your situation. If you want to get into real estate, if you want to become a high performer, I might be able to help you out with that. But if I can't, hey, I'll point you out to the right direction. And I'd love to work with you. But if I genuinely can't help, or my team can't help, we'd love to point you towards where you can get the help that you need, whether that's building a business, getting into real estate, becoming a high performer, and even just getting better as a human in general. So hope that helps. You guys are awesome. Hope you guys got a little bit of value. It's a little bit of a deeper video there, touching base on a little bit of a background in philosophy, how I look at life. And if you guys love this content, want to see more, you got some more questions you want to ask, put them in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, follow me on social media. And again, if you want help, just book a free call. I'd love to chat with you and see if we can help and help you reach those goals. So thanks again. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Take care and peace.